Good morning, everybody there. So this time, partly I'll be taking the subject microcontroller to you. In the first class, as usual, let us discuss the various topics which would be covered in the complete course, and what are the objectives of the course and what are the outcomes of the course. And microcontroller is such a subject which is very important throughout your career. Wherever you join, the programming of microcontroller is very important, as microcontroller is a part in every systems whatever we see around. Maybe IoT enabled environment, in industries, in automobiles, household applications, entertainment. So these are all the various places where basic microcontrollers are used. As you see in the screen which I have shared, which shows the syllabus. So please ping back. Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, whether you are whether you can see the screen which I have shared, see the syllabus. Okay, that's fine. The various objectives of the course. The very important part which you have to understand is what is the difference between the microprocessor and a microcontroller. And at the same time, what is the difference between microcontroller and an embedded controller? And basically, once these preliminary things are over, we are going to see 8051 microcontroller in detail, starting with the architecture, programming in assembly, as well as C, high-level language like C. Later, in the later part of the syllabus, we'll be talking about interrupt system. What do you mean by an interrupt? What is the interrupt system of 8051? And what are the uses of interrupts? And we are going to understand the operation and use of inbuilt timer. Please mark that 8051 has inbuilt timers and serial port. Very important is that. Later we are going to interface 8051 to external memory and IO devices. And for that we are going to use IO ports. So these are all the various course learning objectives. Having said this, in module 1, your complete course, as you know, is divided into 5 modules. And it is actually a 3-credit course. You can just see that. It is a 3-credit course. Number of lecture hours per week is 3. Total number of lecture hours design is 8 hours per module. That is 40 hours. Still, we shall be taking always 4 hours per week, so that we can go in depth and we can cover properly. So in the module 1, as I said, it is a preliminary introductory module where we are going to differentiate microprocessor and microcontroller. What differentiate microcontroller and embedded microcontroller, and we are going to see what I mean by an embedded system. This is the preliminary articles at the beginning. Later we are going to see 8051 architecture in detail, which contains pin diagram, IO ports, various functions, internal memory organization. All of you know that. You should know that the basic difference between 8051 and microprocessor, that is microcontroller and microprocessor, is microprocessor does not contain an inbuilt memory, whereas microcontroller contains an inbuilt memory. Very important difference is the very first point which immediately should tell is microprocessor does not contain inbuilt memory, whereas microcontroller contains inbuilt memory. This is the important thing which you have to understand. Once again, I suggest all of you to keep a notebook and note down whatever I say, so that it would be a quick reference notes to you. Later, the same video will be uploaded in the YouTube. You can once again refer back and correct your notes. So this should be your idea in case of the online classes. Otherwise, everything just goes above your head. So whatever I tell, normally I tell the things repeatedly. You can very beautifully note down everything. Keep a separate notebook for microcontroller, because it is not something a theoretical presentation. In between, you'll be having some analysis, you'll be having some programming aspect. So it's always better to keep a notebook separately. Quickly jot down the important points. Later, once again, go back to the video and prepare your own notes. Of course, Google Classroom is created already by Mr. Shashikiran sir, and we will be sharing various details through Google Classroom. Join the Google Classroom so that you can understand better. So having said this, the last part of the module covers the interfacing part, external memory interfacing. Module 2 starts, module 2 and 3 are very important two modules which teaches you programming. Module 2 and 3 teaches you programming. It starts with the addressing modes. What do you mean by an addressing modes? What are the various instructions present in 8051? Instructions are broadly classified into 5 groups. I repeat, instructions are broadly classified into 5 groups. Data transfer instructions for moving the data from one storage place to another storage place, maybe from register to memory, memory to register, register to register, etc. For moving the data, just for transferring the data, you have data transfer instructions. For performing arithmetic and logical operations, you have arithmetic instructions and logical instructions. For changing the sequence of program execution, very, very important. For changing the sequence of program execution, you have branch instructions, and you have what is really called as bit manipulation instructions. What is bit manipulation instruction? When I deal today at the end of the session, when I deal difference between microprocessor and microcontroller, I would say the very important first difference I have already said. Microprocessor does not contain inbuilt memory. Microcontroller contains inbuilt memory. Second difference is microprocessor is computationally intensive. Please note down, very important. Second difference, microprocessor is computationally intensive, whereas microcontroller is control and communication intensive. What do you mean by that? Microprocessor is computation intensive and microcontroller is communication intensive or control intensive. The reason is microprocessor always does high-end computations, maybe an array multiplication, array processing in digital signal processing applications. You may handling a large chunk of the data. You normally do just data processing, that's all. For that, microprocessor is efficient. But in case of microcontroller, is very good in taking the decisions. Yes or no such things? Maybe in a temperature furnace, you have atomized, you have attached a microcontroller and programmed it. When the temperature is about 25 degrees, enable a sensor and give some information. Such things, decision-making things, yes or no such of things. For this, you have something called as very intensive bit manipulation operations. But whereas in case of microprocessor, bit manipulation operations are not so intensive because it is computationally efficient, whereas in case of microcontroller is efficient in taking decisions. That is why we have large chunk of bit manipulation instructions. So this is, we will be dealing in module 2 in detail, instruction set, and at the end we'll be writing some sample programs using assembly level language without loops. Concept of loops already you have studied in first semester, your basic C language programming. There you have understood what do you mean by looping. Looping, a concept of repeatedly doing the same thing. Maybe you may be adding 10 numbers, then you may be executing add instructions repeatedly within a loop. So anyway, in the second module, we are going to write simple programs without having any loops. Maybe a simple adding 2 numbers, subtracting, multiplying, etc., etc. Simple operations, maybe reversing a particular byte or whatever it is. Very, very simple. Swapping 2 numbers. Wherever some single operations are mentioned, such programming will be doing in at the end of module 2. In case of module 3, we are doing a little high-end programming where we use a concept called as subroutine. Dividing the main task into subtasks and independently programming them is really called as the concept of subroutine. In case of programming structure, modularization is a very important concept. What do you mean by modularization? There will be a task. Then what do you do? Divide the task into independent subtasks and program them subtask wise and call them as subroutine. To coordinate the results of the subroutine, you write a main program. So main program, the job of the main program is to call the various subroutines, compile the result, and finally give the output to the user. So this concept is really called as modularization. So modular programming will be done in module 3. Modular programming will be done in module 3 using the concept called as stacks. So we will tell you, I'll discuss what do you mean by a stack. Stack is a data structure where the data will be stacked one over the other using the operation called as push. Stacking is done using a memory. Separate memory is declared as the stack, and data is pushed into one over the other. So when you are reading the data from the stack, the last inputted data, please understand very clearly, the last inputted data will be popped first, will be read first. That is why the stack is always called as last in, first out data structure, LIFO. Last in, first out data structure. So what is the structure of stack in 8051? All those things we are going to deal in module 3, and we are going to write various programs, little complex programs using subroutines and loops. The last article may be an interfacing article where you are going to interface simple switch and LED to using IO ports. It's an application just to switch on and switch off the LED. That means you are using 8051 IO communication facility. You have started interfacing external devices into 8051 using IO ports. Port is a place for communication. Port pins are there in 8051 where you can externally connect externally interconnect. I don't know whether you know the difference between connect and interconnect. Connect word indicates unidirectional transmission. Interconnect indicates bidirectional transmission, where 8051 can send some data and device can send some information to 8051 so that it can process and finally give the output. So like that, things will go on. So interfacing is such a job where external devices are interconnected to 8051. That concept is dealt at the end of module 3. So module 4 deals with 8051 timers and serial port. I shall be discussing it whenever the topic we are going to discuss. So timers and counters are the inbuilt devices present in 8051. Timers takes care the timing job, synchronization job, giving timing signals, whereas counters will count the number of events in synchronous with the clock. So such devices and the serial communication port is present inside the 8051 for interfacing external devices. So module 5 talks about interrupts and interfacing applications. At the first part, in the first part, we will be talking about 8051 interrupts. In the second part, we are going to talk about various applications of interfacing, like generating, interfacing a digital to analog converter, interfacing analog to digital converter, interfacing LCD, interfacing stepper motor, and programming them. So this is the complete syllabus of about 40 to 45 hours. So we shall be uploading the lesson plan. We have already uploaded the lesson plan in JAMS, which you can see. I have already uploaded the lesson plan and course outcomes in the JAMS. You can log in into JAMS and you can just see what is the lesson plan we have made. All the about 45 sessions we have planned. So now let us see what are the outcomes of the course. Outcomes are the measures or plans we are assuring to the students at the end of the course what a student is going to get. So this is the lesson plan which you have uploaded. This is the lesson plan. For module 1, we have planned about 11 sessions. For module 2, we have planned about 10 sessions. Module 3 about 8. Module 4 about 8 and module 5 about 8. About 45 sessions we have planned. Even content beyond the syllabus also we have planned. We are going to give you an assignment where you have to survey the various type of microcontrollers and finally choose microcontroller of your interest, Google it out and learn the programming aspect and finally submit a report. So this is what we have planned as content beyond syllabus, which you can do an independent study. So this is about the lesson plan, what we have made for the complete course. So all of you answer your attendance by typing present in the chat box. About 31 members logged in. At the beginning, it was 38. I don't know where the others went. They might have just logged in and went out. See, now this is the time of online classes. So you need to practice attending online classes with all sorts of concentrations rather than telling various reasons. So it would be always better. Friends, this has the course outcomes. At the end of the course, what is a course outcome? Course outcome is a measure of the student's ability at the end of the course. Course outcome is a measure of student's ability at the end of the course. So at the end of the course, you will be able to apply the basic knowledge of processor architecture in embedded system design. Suppose in an embedded system, you are asked to do some embedded system. You are asked to design some embedded system. You are asked to design some embedded system. Then you may have to do some self-study of some microcontroller using the basic concepts that you have already studied, and you may have to design. So that ability you will have at the end of this course. So this is the first outcome which we are expecting. This is a measure at the end of the course. Second outcome is you'll be able to design microcontroller based programs using high level language or assembly level language. So this ability you will get by studying module 3 and module 2 and module 3. Also, outcome 3 is you will be able to design timer based program and interrupt based program. This you will get by studying module 3 and module 4, and as well as module 5, because interrupts are studied in module 5. Timers and counters are studied in module 4. And you will be able to design various interfacing applications. That will be your ability. You'll be able to interface any devices of any microcontroller, because this is a basic microcontroller. Once you understand this, you can understand various other microcontrollers like Node MCU, Arduino Uno, Raspberry Pi. These are all the advanced microcontrollers which you can understand. And finally, you'll be able to design microcontroller based system. This is a very ambitious CO we are writing, because this ability will get by doing the assignments what you gave. So we give an assignment for 10 marks, survey the microcontroller. You have to Google various type of microcontroller. You have to prepare a report. Out of that, one microcontroller you have to choose. You may be choosing Arduino Uno. You know that Arduino Uno based development boards are available now in the market. So you can spend some money for that, or you can even use the components which are available in our IoT lab. You can just visit our IoT lab once. And you may have to attend some various workshops you are going to conduct. This will be conducted by your seniors. Arduino Uno based, Node MCU based workshop you are going to conduct very frequently, so that you can develop a microcontroller based system, maybe a microcontroller driven stepper motor control. Simple. We are not going to expect a just a big major project out of it. A simple interfacing that you can develop. You may be interfacing a temperature monitoring system, temperature sensor. You may be interfacing to a microcontroller. You are writing a very small program, control that temperature sensor. You may be dipping in a glass of water, hot water, cold water, medium hot, and you may be reading that temperature and you are recording it. A simple program. This is what I mean. This the ability you may get at the end of this course, that is designing a microcontroller based system. That is the ability number 5. So these are the 4 course outcomes we have written by going through the syllabus. And you know that we are our higher education is governed by National Board of Accreditation process, where the National Board of Accreditation has listed about 12 outcomes, normally called as program outcomes. They are general for any engineering course, any engineering degree for that matter. So they are there. You can just see here this table, the column headings, PO1 to PO12. The program outcome 1 is your engineering knowledge. Program outcome 2 is your analysis skills. Program outcome 3 is your design knowledge. Program output outcome number 4, PO number 4 is complex problem solving ability. PO5 is ability to use modern tools. PO6 and PO7 is devoted to societal and environmental concern. PO8 is devoted to ethical concern. PO9 is actually the working in a ability to work in a group, ability to lead a group. That is program outcome number 9. Program outcome number 10 is your communication skills. Program outcome number 11 is your project management skills. Program outcome number 12 is your self-learning ability or lifelong learning ability. So whatever course outcomes we have listed, we have mapped to program outcomes. In a sense, by undergoing this course, which 12 program outcomes this particular course is addressing, that mapping you have done. So by outcome number 1, that is your ability to understand any type of microcontroller, that is your engineering knowledge you are going to get. That is why we have mapped it to program outcome number 4. Sorry, program PO1. And you are going to solve the assignments, programming assignments, what you do in groups. That is why it will be, we have even mapped to PO9, and you are going to give some report on whatever assignments we have given. That is why your communication skill also we are going to improve. Finally, you will be doing some self-learning ability by surveying various type of microcontrollers. Like that, we have mapped all the 5 outcomes. So this general knowledge you should have. What do you mean by program outcome? What do you mean by course outcome? Program outcomes are defined already by National Board of Accreditation Agency. It is a general across the engineering degree. Course outcomes are the measures of the ability of the student at the end of a particular course. So this mapping gives you how actually the course outcome addresses this particular program outcomes which have been designed. So this is the complete picture of a particular course. So whatever we are studying throughout the 45 sessions. So I am almost at the end of my session. Before I conclude, so I am going to show you an introductory slide of 8051 microcontroller. So I am having almost about 8 minutes. So what is an 8051 microcontroller? What is basically a microcontroller? Why do you need learn microprocessors or controller? Microprocessor is the central processing unit. CPU, normally we call it as. So nowadays all the day-to-day affairs are automized. It may be communication, it may be entertainment, it may be you may be using a portable device. You need to control them automatically. For this job, either you have to use microprocessors or you have to use microcontrollers. A designer normally should know what type of the components he needs, how to reduce the production cost, production variable, etc. So different aspects of microprocessor and microcontrollers are, there will be some hardware and there will be some software. Hardware in the sense you are going to interface with the external world. Software means you should know in which way you have to deal the inputs and you have to process the outputs. So the necessary tools for microprocessor or microcontroller, you should have a central processing unit. You should have an I/O communication facility. You should have group of wires, normally called as the bus. What is a bus? Set of communication wires. Physical communication wires are termed as bus. To carry the data, you will be having the data bus. For carrying the memory address, we are having the address bus in any processor. And we need to have some memory, maybe some read-write memory or read-only memory. Read-only memory is normally required for permanent storage. Read-write memory is normally used for storing, processing data and rewriting the data after updating the data. All those random access memory, RAM, is necessary. All of you know that. Timer is a device which generates the clock signals, timing signals. Interrupt is a facility where the external device interrupts the processor for getting its service. Maybe you may be transferring some bulk data. That time there will be an interrupt to the processor saying that the bulk data need to be transferred from one place to the other place. This is what, for handling the interrupt, a special routine is there called as the interrupt service subroutine. You need to have some serial port for serial communication. You have to have some parallel port for transferring the data in parallel. So this is the various tools when you are going to have microprocessor or microcontroller based environment. So at the beginning, very first article says, what is a microprocessor and what is a microcontroller? Microprocessor is normally called as a general purpose processor. So microprocessor is normally the CPU for any computer. In simple words, what is a microprocessor? Microprocessor is the central processing unit of a computer. Very important, as I told already, in microprocessor, you don't have any RAM, you don't have any ROM, you don't have I/O port. On CPU chip, CPU chip does not contain, very important, CPU chip does not contain RAM, ROM, I/O. So example, Intel's 8086 or maybe Motorola. So this is the block diagram of a microprocessor based system. You can just see, I told you already, microprocessor is the CPU of the computing system. All the other components other than the processing unit, which is called as arithmetic and the logic unit, other than the processing unit and the in-house registers, everything is externally connected, externally interfaced. Everything is externally interfaced. RAM, ROM, I/O, timer, serial communication facility, etc. Everything is externally interfaced. That is the very, very important point of microprocessor. Then, what is a microcontroller? You can just see. Microcontroller itself is a small computer. Everything is brought inside the chip. You can just see. Single chip. That is what is called as a system on chip. Central processing unit is there, RAM is there, ROM is there on chip, I/O port is there, timer is there, serial communication port is there. All the four things are present on a single chip. That is the major. Microcontroller is a small computer where microprocessor is CPU of the computer. Every other things are externally interfaced. So that is the basic. So you can just see the final chart. I'm almost another 2 minutes I have. microprocessor and microcontroller difference, you can just see CPU is standalone, RAM, ROM, IO timers are separate, whereas in case of microcontroller, CPU, RAM, ROM, IO and timers are on the chip. Designer can decide on the amount of ROM and RAM required in case of microprocessor, but in case of microcontroller, fixed amount of the on-chip RAM and ROM and IO ports are present. Microprocessor is expansive, microcontroller you cannot expand. Microprocessor is general, versatile, whereas microcontroller is very designed for an applications, and it is a single purpose. So with this words, I'm stopping here, and we shall see it in the next class.